All right, so are you ready? Today, we're going deep, really deep into the world of Elon Musk.
Buckle up because we're going way past those headlines and tweets.
Yeah, past the hype, right to the core of what makes this guy tick. We're lucky to have a phenomenal roadmap for this journey.
Walter Isaacson's brand new biography.
Now, Isaacson, this is the guy who wrote that amazing Steve Jobs book, right?
The same one. And here's the thing. He had unbelievable access to Musk for this one. Like unprecedented access.
So we're really getting the inside scoop behind the curtain.
Exactly. No more guessing games.
So the million-dollar question Isaacson tackles head-on is Musk a true visionary, a genius, or just a reckless risk-taker?
I mean, he's launching rockets, he's digging those tunnels, but then there's also, well, some pretty unconventional behavior.
To put it mildly, right?
Yeah. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not shying away from those contradictions.
We're diving right in.
Trying to understand the forces, the motivations behind this, let's face it, complex figure.
Totally. So where do we even begin with a guy like Elon Musk? I mean, his life story is wild.
Well, Isaacson actually takes us all the way back to his childhood,
Okay, back to the beginning.
South Africa. It wasn't all sunshine and roses, that's for sure. Isaacson paints this picture of a kid dealing with some serious bullying.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and apparently finding escape and solace in the world of computers.
Makes sense.
Makes you wonder, right? Did technology become his refuge? A way to escape a tough reality?
That's a really interesting thought. Like maybe those early experiences, they kind of lit a fire in him.
It's possible. Maybe it fueled his drive to create, to innovate, to build a world where he could thrive, but on his own terms.
To control his own destiny. I like that.
Right, and that drive, you see it throughout his entire career from the very beginning, even with that early success with PayPal.
PayPal, yeah.
But even there, Isaacson shows us there was conflict. That relentless work ethic was already there,
Yeah.
almost a pattern.
So it wasn't just the rockets and cars, it was always there.
It seems so. Isaacson digs into that, and he even mentions those crazy work hours.
Oh, yeah, the all-nighters, sleeping at the factory.
A whole 9 yards. It makes you wonder, is that sustainable? Is it healthy? It's a good question. And Isaacson doesn't shy away from those tough questions.
He doesn't hold back.
Nope. He even recounts this story, pretty striking actually, about Musk firing some SpaceX staff.
Firing them. Why?
Because they couldn't match his pace.
Wow. So is that dedication? Or just ruthlessness? I don't know.
It's definitely something to think about. What kind of pressure does that create for people?
Yeah, and what does it say about his leadership style? That's a big one.
It is. And this leads to a theme that Isaacson keeps exploring, the potential cost of vision. Because Musk is achieving incredible things.
Nobody can deny that.
But it seems like it comes at a price for him personally and for those around him.
So it's not just about those rockets and electric cars, it's about the human impact too.
Precisely. It's about how much you're willing to sacrifice to achieve a goal. How far are you willing to push yourself and those around you?
That's a good point. Isaacson goes into Musk's personal life, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. Isaacson reveals the strain that this relentless drive has had on his relationships. Makes you wonder, is there a line where ambition turns into obsession?
And where's the tipping point?
And what are the consequences?
It's like we're talking about electric cars and rockets, but really we're talking about something bigger, something human.
Right. Choices, sacrifices, the impact our choices have on ourselves and the world around us.
Big stuff. So it comes back to that original question, doesn't it? Visionary genius pushing humanity forward, or reckless risk-taker who might just be pushing too far?
Isaacson doesn't give us a simple answer. Instead, he gives us this nuanced portrait. It's up to us to decide.
I like that. So we've laid the groundwork, right? Glimpse into Musk's past, his motivations, but there's so much more to uncover.
Oh, there's a lot more to come. Next, we're going even deeper into that leadership style. The brilliance and, well, maybe the potential blind spots.
This is where it gets juicy. Stay with us. Okay, so that question lingers, right? Is Elon Musk more genius or more risk-taker?
Or maybe, like we were saying, it's both sides of the same coin.
It's that tension that makes this whole thing so interesting.
And Isaacson doesn't shy away from the tough stuff, the controversial parts of Musk's leadership.
Yeah, like that whole sleeping on the factory floor thing.
Oh, absolutely, at the Tesla factory.
Part of you is like, wow, this guy is so dedicated, so all in,
Living and breathing the work.
that he's practically living there. But then the other part of you is like, wait, is that healthy? Is that even a good example to set?
Right, for everyone else. What's interesting is Isaacson actually links this behavior back to Musk's early days, like way back at his first company, Zip2.
Oh, even before PayPal.
Yep, even back then, Musk was pulling all-nighters, the caffeine was flowing, and he just had this burning desire to outwork everybody.
So it's not a new thing.
Doesn't seem to be. He's like this always-on mentality. It's part of his DNA.
I guess when you're trying to revolutionize, like, every industry at once, there's no off switch.
Right, always that urgency.
Yeah.
But going back to your point, is that sustainable?
Yeah, that's what I keep wondering.
Isaacson digs into this, and he looks at it through the lens of the technical challenges Musk was taking on.
Okay, I'm following.
So take SpaceX, for example. Reusable rockets, that whole idea, it was basically crazy talk to a lot of people in the aerospace world.
That sounds crazy, yeah.
But Musk pushed his engineers and pushed hard. They had to solve problems that seemed impossible.
And they did it eventually.
They did, but here's the question Isaacson raises. With all that pressure, was that the fuel for their innovation, or was it just creating a really unhealthy work environment?
Good point. We hear all those stories, right?
We do. And to his credit, Isaacson gives us both sides. He highlights the amazing things SpaceX achieved, but he also doesn't shy away from the toll it took on some people.
So there were casualties along the way.
It seems so. And this is where the ethical side of things comes in.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Isaacson reveals that sometimes this laser focus on the goal, on Musk's part, well, it led to compromises, not just in terms of work-life balance, but also in areas like safety protocols, even environmental concerns.
Whoa, hold on. That's serious stuff.
It is. It makes you think even when the goals are huge, like colonizing Mars or making energy sustainable, do the ends always justify the means?
Yeah, how far is too far? That's a tough one.
Right. It's the heart of the dilemma. Can we be in awe of Musk's vision, of his drive, and still hold him accountable for the ethical choices?
It's like two separate things almost, but they can't be separated, can they?
Exactly. It makes me think that saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think Musk even sees it that way? Does he recognize that responsibility?
Well, Isaacson digs into this too. He includes things Musk himself has said.
Mm-hmm.
Musk often calls himself a mission-driven leader, someone who makes personal sacrifices for, the greater good.
Saving humanity kind of thing.
Right. But is that real awareness or just a way to justify the tough calls?
Ooh, interesting.
It's almost like he sees himself as this, modern-day Prometheus.
Bringing fire to the people, but getting burned himself.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it fits into this larger story that Isaacson is telling, right?
Okay.
The story of a guy driven by huge ambition, but also maybe haunted by his own inner struggles, always reaching for control.
It's like we're seeing this double image with Elon Musk. On one hand, the brilliant innovator pushing technology forward, and on the other, this leader who sometimes seems to leave a trail of, well, chaos.
Exactly. That duality, that's at the core of what Isaacson's trying to do with this biography. It's like he's challenging us to look at both sides, the good and the bad, and try to make sense of it all.
It does feel like every time you think you've got Musk figured out, there's another layer, something else to discover.
Oh, absolutely. Like that quote Isaacson uses where Musk says, "I'm not like most people."
I remember that one. Is that him being self-aware or just arrogant?
That's the question, isn't it? It kind of gets to this theme of exceptionalism that runs through Musk's whole story.
Okay, I see that.
Like, he truly believes the rules don't apply to him.
Yeah.
He's exempt, somehow, from the norms, the limits that the rest of us have to deal with.
Which I guess explains why he takes such huge risks, right?
It might. Who else would put everything on the line to start a car company when the giants are already there?
Or try to colonize Mars. Well, let's face it, most of us are just trying to make rent.
Right. Isaacson actually connects this back to Musk's childhood. Apparently, he was a huge science fiction fan. Authors like Asimov and Heinlein, those were his favorites. They wrote about these futures where humanity broke free of Earth's limits.
So Musk's not just in it for the money or even just for success, right?
No, it's bigger than that. It's like he's trying to make those fictional worlds real, to fulfill some grand vision of the future.
I get it. He's on a mission.
And that's what makes him so compelling, right? He's not just a businessman, an engineer. He's a visionary. a dreamer who pushes the limits, even if it means causing some damage along the way.
That's true. But those broken eggs, so to speak, they represent real people.
Exactly. Their lives, their livelihoods. And Isaacs doesn't gloss over that.
He shows the human side of it.
He does. We hear from people who worked for Musk and felt burned out, used, investors who lost a ton of money, even family struggling to connect with them. This driven, often distant person.
It's a good reminder that progress, especially at the scale Musk is working on, it has a price.
And it makes us ask, is it worth it? What are we willing to sacrifice for that progress? Our values, our relationships, even our own well-being.
It's a lot to think about. I mean, can you separate the art from the artist, so to speak?
Can you admire what Musk does while also seeing the flaws, the harm maybe he's caused?
Tough question.
That's what Isaacson leaves us with. He doesn't give a
Oh.
simple answer, a judgment. Instead, he gives us this portrait, complex, nuanced. Musk defies easy labels.
He does, that's for sure.
Brilliant, reckless,
Yeah.
driven by a vision that's both amazing and a little terrifying.
So where does that leave us? After going this deep into Elon Musk's world, I have to admit I'm inspired, but also kind of unsettled.
I think that's the right way to feel. This isn't a story with a tidy ending. It's still going on, unfolding. It's a warning, maybe, but also a reminder of what humans can do, the good and the bad.
The potential is there, but so are the risks.
Exactly. It reminds us that the future isn't set in stone. The choices we make, the risks we take, those shape what's to come.
And as we've seen with Musk, those choices, they have consequences. Big ones. For us and for generations to come.
If you're intrigued, if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I definitely recommend checking out Isaacson's biography. Go deeper into the story. And as you're reading about Musk, ask yourself, what would you do differently? What would you be willing to sacrifice to achieve your dreams? What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world?
That's a great question. It's something we should all be thinking about. Well, thanks for joining me on this journey into the mind of, let's face it, one of the most influential people of our time. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.